We are not sure what possessed us, but we decided to go on a marathon 9-day trip here to Tokyo. The plan is not to spend all the time here in Tokyo going to Ginza or Shibuya, but to actually make a couple of day trips out to places like Yokohama as well as Kamakura. This is our Airbnb above an izakaya with a very narrow layout, thin walls as well as creaking floorboards. Shiinamachi has very homely vibes and is one stop away from the major interchange of Ikebukuro. The initial plan for this day was to head to Shinjuku to do some shopping, but unfortunately our plans had to be changed because someone had been traversing the tracks. Which is why we find ourselves in Ginza at this Onitsuka Tiger outlet looking for shoes for ourselves as well as loved ones. You can see there are plenty of tourists at this outlet. Next we headed to this multi-story Itoya outlet to get our stationery fix. I love how they incorporated art at the entrance. This is the place to be if you love tote bags, notebooks, fountain pens, as well as all sorts of other knickknacks. While we covered almost every floor by stairs or by the escalator, we ended up not buying anything at all, sadly. And at a few junctures, we actually lost each other because someone was browsing a particular floor and someone else had moved on to the upper level. Even if you're not a hardcore stationery fan, I still think it's worth paying Itoya a visit. Somewhere near the top floor is where you'll find this little model of the original shop front, and it's right beside the cafe where they grow their own vegetables. We weren't expecting it, but they had pedestrianized the streets outside. It was pretty crowded everywhere and we had no choice but to settle for lunch wherever we could find somewhere that had space. Originally, we wanted to head to a kaiten sushi outlet, but had to make do with this little basement eatery that served pretty good food actually. You will notice that we ordered plenty of steamed as well as grilled food because we had seniors with us. After lunch, it was time to hit the streets again, and this time we were headed to a flagship Muji outlet in Ginza. While Sakura season is over, there's still plenty of greenery and flowers to admire along the way. We have Muji outlets in Singapore, but the purpose of coming here is to see if you can find any Japan exclusive products. Last but not least, we were going to round off the shopping for the day by going to a departmental store chain known as Loft. I briefly considered buying dried sweet potato bars for my colleagues from Loft, but in the end decided that I should just settle everything at a Don Don Donki instead. As you ascend, you will find a floor full of cosmetics, a section dedicated to merch from the Museum of Modern Art, an army of blind boxes where you'll find characters like Smisky, and they even have a floor full of bags and umbrellas, and the bags that they carry here are not cheap house brands, but premium brands such as Evergoods. Last but not least, you will also find ceramic goods that are exclusively made in Japan. By this time, it was almost approaching evening and we wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of the endless crowds in all of the departmental stores. Frankly, I was a little bit overstimulated by this point, having had to jostle on the underground metro as well as in all of the shops. Which is why we decided to head to an oasis of calm in the middle of the city in this form of a historical park. Hibiya Park, which opened in 1903, is Japan's first modern Western-styled public park. It's clear we were not the only ones trying to find respite far away from the maddening crowd. We were grateful for the chance to be able to catch a breather and allow our tired and aching feet and legs to recover before we called it a day and headed home by the metro. While the sky wasn't a deep blue today, but in the warm afternoon glow, the park was a magical place. We briefly contemplated walking over to the Imperial Palace, but realized that it was a lot further than we had imagined, and decided to just call it a day and head back early to Shiinamachi, where we could grab our dinner from a supermarket and settle in and rest for the night. The neighborhood was even more endearing at night when the street lights had come on and people were just making their way back home.